Okay, resume. All right, no, that's fine.
Ah,
Okay, let me start again. So, okay, as I was saying yesterday, we touched on inventory, right? And today we want to start on order entry. So I'll explain what order entry is and what it does. As I was saying, some of these things, because we haven't done transactions, uh, they may not like simple to understand, but when you start doing transactions, you'd find you start to relate to what we're talking about. So what order entry does is it allows us to do sales transactions. Because you've got sales transactions, you also have got purchases transactions. So under order entry, it's sort of an entry type which allows you to do that. Right. So under maintenance, basically, there are issues of cancellation reasons. If an order is ever cancelled, uh, there are default reasons that should be attached to those. You are going to see it when we start doing the orders. If there is a need for you to cancel, you can just pick a description of why that sales order is being cancelled or why that purchase order is being cancelled. You can, besides these default ones which come with the system, you can add your own reasons. You can actually add your own reasons as to why a particular order is being cancelled, be it a sales order or a purchase order. You will see when you do orders, there will be a button, there will be a space for us to put a reason if you are canceling an order, right? Then under order entry, there we also have got order status. So again, you may want to put order status, the stage at which the order is at. I'll give you an explanation. When somebody is buying, you are going to see this. We haven't done this. If a customer comes in, what begins normally is a quotation. So you have a quotation, a customer comes and inquire, how much is this product costing? Right. Then a quotation is done. Then the customer may say, okay, fine, I'm okay with the price that you've given me. Can you reserve the item for me? Or I want to buy the item. So you'd find from a quotation, you then go to a sales order. Okay. So you go to a sales order, and when you do the sales order, you can supply and deliver it completely, or you can partially deliver it, right? So this status now they're just like your reasons. You come up with the order status. If you're having a situation whereby you get sales orders, but you are not able to fulfill them, right, all at once, then you may want to track the status, the stage at which each order is at. So you add those reasons. So this is it's just more like a description. You can say 10% completed, you can say 50% completed, whatever description you put, but it's just meant to help one understand the stage at which a sales order, be it a purchase order or a sales order, because you can buy products from your suppliers and they may not supply all your products at once, what you've ordered. They may give you part of the order, then promise to bring the remainder either next week or whatever other time. So again, these reasons or the status will help you track at which stage each sales or purchase order is at. Right. If you're not using sales orders, you may not need that. Right. Then under order entry, you've got what we term order defaults. So these defaults are set by the system. You've got sales order numbering set by the system. You do not have to change this. So there is a template for sales orders. Again, you do not have to change this. The same goes for purchase orders. There is numbering, which is there, and the linkages which are there. These are just defaults. You do not have to change them. They are templates. Again, you do not have to change them. So the defaults normally we say when you are starting like now, there is no need for you to change. The defaults are enough. They are configured well and they work well, right? Then orders relink, just like what we saw when you spoke about general ledger relink. I think you also saw the relink under customers and suppliers. So this one is just to relink it's sort of recalculate. It's just like more like checking the integrity of your sales and purchases order. That's what it does. So when you run it, it does what that normally we say just do a backup because you don't know what happens. System may not complete the relink. So just backup before you run it. All right. I think we're going to be running them. Once we start processing, we're going to come back and do some of these things. Right. Then page orders. Page orders again has to do with deleting, just like what we saw when we talked about paging, general ledger accounts, customer accounts, and so on. If you've got some orders that you want to page, be it sales orders or purchase orders, you can select unprocessed, processed. These are more like the state or the status that we saw. Then you select the dates from, then you delete. So paging is deleting. If you page something from the system, do a backup first, because once you page, that information is gone. Right. So we're going to see order entry when we start processing transactions. These are more like settings or characteristics of the order entry. Right. Now let's go to procurement. Procurement, what it does is managing the procurement process. In an organization, if you are to buy, it could be your trading goods, it could be your assets, or it could be whatever is to be bought, even stationery. In an organization which has got control systems, you could find there is a procurement process which begins with quotations. So you have to do quotations, then the quotations have to be approved. You may actually start from a requisition, I believe, start from a requisition. Then the requisition is approved. Then you go on to do quotations. The quotations are approved. Then you raise a purchase order. Then you go on to buy either cash or on account. So this procurement module is meant to manage that process. So you've got what we term incidents. We're not going to do this in detail because what it requires is you have to set it up like you've got let's say a finance manager, you've got an accountant, you've got accounts clerks, you've got other departments, sales, and so on. So these are the departments and everybody, they are making requisitions. Let's say probably you've got a buyer, they're making requisitions. Right? The requisitions go to the buyer does the quotations, sends probably those quotations to the finance manager for approval. Then it runs that. So this procurement, like the incidents, you are setting up that workflow. And for us to be able to properly set it up, we should have that. So we also have got defaults, also have got order defaults and page requisitions. So this basically is to manage the procurement whereby it is initiated on the system on Sage Evolution. It is authorized, managed on Sage Evolution until the payment. We're not going to do this one in detail because of the need of that setup. But let's go to bill of materials. Bill of materials is to do for manufacturing companies, manufacturing, those who manufacture products, anyone who manufactures. So for you to do manufacturing, you have to do what we term a bill of material. I'll give you an example. If you are making salsa and selling salsa, there are people who, okay, a canteen, you've got professional canteens, right? People who are doing it professionally and, people, they actually go and sit and they eat their food and everything. But you see, those people are manufacturing because they are taking ingredients, this ingredient and that ingredient, mixing and coming up with a food pack, right? So for you to be able to do manufacturing on Sage Evolution, you should create what we term bill of material. So in a manufacturing setup, you need to know what you have is you have raw materials. These are your inputs. I'll give you an example. If you're making salsa, you've got your mealie meal is a raw material, right? Then you've got your water. This one is easy. It's a raw material. So when you are building a bill of material, you have got mealie meal and water, then you put the quantities which allows you to make a certain quantity of salsa. So your finished product is salsa, right? But your raw materials are mealie meal and water. Then there are quantities which, okay, let's say probably want to make 10 kgs of salsa. You can put this in kgs. So you have to measure what kgs of millimeter do you require, what kgs of, what liters of water do you also require. So when you do that now, you come to your evolution, you set up the bill of material. Here, you're not manufacturing, you're simply setting up what is required to manufacture a particular product. So you come to bills of material, then you say inventory items. So these inventory items you are talking of it's the finished product, which is SADSA, and the raw materials, which are millimil and water. So I showed you how to create this. I showed you how to create this. So if you were to create just like what we did, let me just do this quickly. So we have our, okay, I'm just going to type millimil. Let me just save this. So I'm having this as a product, which is a raw material. So it's not a service item, it's a warehouse item. Then I come to pricing. I'm just going to pricing. Then I'm just putting a cost, let's say $10. So I'm putting that cost. This one is a raw material. So I'm not going to put a selling price. You understand that? I'm not going to put a selling price. Why? Because it's a raw material. I just need to put in the cost. So I'm just going to save and close this. I'm not going to put a selling price. Then I say, okay. So I've created that. Then I add water. I'm just using this as a demonstration. But you see, when you are actually manufacturing, you are given this bill of material. You are supposed to be given the bill of material by the production manager. They should have the bill of material of each product which a particular organization manufactures. So I'm putting in that. Then again, so like, okay, the price which I'm putting, like for millimeter, it will be a price like a price per kg or a price per gram. So you have to measure and say how many kgs are going to go into manufacturing, let's say 10 kgs of SADA. Then the system will compute. Now, for water is cheaper, so probably I'll say it's $1 per liter. So again, I'm just putting in the cost. I'm not putting in the selling price. So I've created two products, the millimil and the water. Now I have to create the SADSA, which is the finished product that we are manufacturing. So I'm going to put in SADSA there, right? I'll also just use that as the description, right? Then under pricing, when I come to pricing, I'm not putting a cost. I'm not putting a cost. The cost is going to come from the manufacturing process. I'm just going to put a selling price. So I'll just put a selling price. And this selling price has to be, I don't know, per plate or per what. So okay, I'm just selecting that. Then I'm selecting my warehouse. Then probably I'm putting in the price. Let's say it's $3. Right. So it could be it's not going to be clear because this is plain SADSA. Understand? This is plain SADSA. In a setup like a canteen, you have got plain SADSA manufacturing. You have got the relish, right? Which has got also its own ingredients or its own inputs in terms of manufacturing. So this one is plain SADSA. So probably we'll just say a plate is at $1, right? Then you say save and close. Okay. So basically, this is how you set it up. So when you go back to bill of material now, what you are building, you are coming here, you now have the inventory items, which are these. Then you come to items. You come where it is said items. Then you are now adding a bill of material. Okay, these ones are the previous ones, which I just did for other products. Then you say add, right? Then when you add, you look for the item that you want to manufacture. What you want to manufacture ourselves is SADSA. So we're just putting up that. Then the description can also be SADSA, right? Then there are these options. Show quantities available, uh, uh, okay, do not tick this one, allow over or under manufacture, do not allow this. Just manufacture accordingly. Then manufacture lead time, you can put that. Right. Manufacture on the fly, create an invoice. Normally we say, do not do this. It distorts your books. Just manufacture and then do your invoicing later on. Break up on the fly. Again, do not do this. It distorts your inventory. Just manufacture the product straightforward. So we have picked the SARS. Then we have to add the inputs or the raw materials which are going to go into the manufacturing of that SARS. So we just come here, we pick, we have got millimil. Where is millimil? Where is my millimil? Is there. So we're picking that millimil. If we wanted to put a default warehouse, we could put, then we have to define and say what quantity usage quantity is going to go into the manufacture of salsa, right? Then we just say, okay. We then come again, we add the other product, which is water, right? Then again, we put what quantity is going to get into that. Then we say, okay. Then we say, okay. So by so doing, we've created what we term a bill of material. That's what we've done. We've created a bill of material. Just allow me to take this one. Otherwise, sorry. Tina na radio. Sama call. I'm concerned to pin row for WhatsApp. Nunca meeting. Just send me the details, then all right. Sorry for that. Yes. So
Okay.
what we've simply done is we've built a bill. We haven't manufactured. So in the real world, the production manager, both in a company setup, you've got these departments which I spoke about. So you've got the production manager is the person responsible for coming up with the bill of material, right? But the finance person, the accountant, the finance manager is interested in the management, the flow of the raw materials and the finished products. So you want to use the system to control that manufacturing process. So what the production manager does, whatever products you are manufacturing, if it is salsa, for example, the production manager, he or she comes up with the bill of material. Salsa, this is the bill of material. Relish, this is the bill of material. Maheu, this is the bill of material. Right? So when the raw materials are bought, they are put in the system. When they manufacture, we are going to manufacture. You are going to see later on when we process. So the system will subtract the raw materials which are required per production run of a particular product. So the bill of material is very important. It has to be set up accurately for each. So you set for each product, like for each. Okay, I'll give you. If you are manufacturing packs of my hair, so you are setting it up for each pack, for each like single pack, right? So that the system will pull the necessary raw materials, and you are able to control that. So here is what is key. The bill relink, it's more like the relink that you saw. They change inventory items to be non-bill items and so on. So normally we say, okay, you only run this, I don't know when. Normally we say, do not run this. Unless if there are errors on your system, which you want to fix, right? Then the bill utilities, update from bill master to inventory, update from normally it's not necessary because the system in case for SADSA you used another name which is different from the inventory name, then you want to update, either you have used a different name, you want to update from inventory to bill of material description, or from this description of the inventory to the description of the bill. But normally what I recommend is, if you're manufacturing SADSA as your finished product, just create it as SADSA. Use that for both the inventory and for your bill of material. The same goes for raw materials. just use one name for both inventory and bill of material. So there won't be need to run this process. Then still under bill of material, there are defaults. Normally I say defaults, leave them as they are. Was they are already set. This system, the defaults are automatically set. So there is no need to change any default. The accounts, everything, as you can see, they are already set. So there is no need to change anything on the default. So under manufacturing, under maintenance, because we haven't completed, we are simply setting up. We haven't done the actual manufacturing. You'll see when you do the actual manufacturing. So under maintenance, bill of materials, what we want you to know is how to create a bill of material. You can practice this. You can, at home we bake like, we can bake cakes. Okay, just hold on. Come in.
What's it? That is, Papa, my past 2 years at Basera wood. Saka, they have to boots. I school what up.
Somebody but
I don't see about boots. Right. You move up chance to get it to get another one of the woods.
All right.
Never the Paringiba boots up.
Bomaron.
When I run out to me, and I got to Sagato.
I think I'm going by.
I don't do. I don't
What happens there?
I know without room.
Last time they come to my just come to money marry. Just say. But come to
I don't do my Nabenda.
Take it down to money marry.
I don't know how to stop pitches.
Which is good. Sagano to go in time.
I shouldn't do so. So you that was what would have. Eleven times is from our 4 5 choose one number. Hey, don't like that sloop. What time that you got? I'm too bad. I ended up seeing.
I think that's fine. All right. Yeah, sorry for that. Today I've got many disturbances. Right. So under manufacturing, I was just saying what we require under the bill of material is the items. We want you to be able to create a bill of material. And I was just saying you can practice this because at home we bake cakes. There are many things that we make. So whatever is used to make that thing or to manufacture that thing is those are your raw materials. So let's say a cake. If you are manufacturing a cake, the cake becomes the finished product. So we create it just the way we created other items. So we're creating the cake, right? Then we also create the raw materials, which go into your flour, your eggs, your milk, your whatever, which goes into making that cake. Then we create the bill of material, right? So that's the way it is. Then we're going to be manufacturing. When you start doing transactions. I think from there onwards, you better appreciate the process. Then, so we're done there. Let's go to job costing. Right. Job costing, I'll explain what job costing is so that you appreciate. Normally, it works again in manufacturing, but for organizations which do like, I'll give you an example for construction. Right. Construction, they may have they may get a job from a client. So it's a job. They're going to construct a house, right? That's a job. And you may want to cost how much it is going to cost, right? You've got people who do like door frames, window frames, who are manufacturing something particular to a particular customer. And you've got your Delta. Your Delta does manufacturing, but they are manufacturing beer for everybody who drinks. So they do not do job costing. They are manufacturing for everyone. So they just do their manufacturing like you want to make 20,000 quarts, whatever quantity. So they just run their manufacturing. Your Pepsi, your Verino beverages, they do not do job costing. But for those who are getting customer orders, right, for a specific customer, they have to do what we term job costing. It's just more or less like your manufacturing. So let's just run through. You are going to appreciate it again when we do the actual job costing under transactions. But let's just run through what is under job costing. So we've got what we term job templates. So you just add them. They don't come with the system. We are adding them because the system doesn't know. As you can see, this differs from one organization to another. So this is template number 1. You can give it a name. Probably, let's say you are manufacturing, so you can give it a name. All right. And again, this comes from this comes from the production manager. It's not like you are the one who is making this. It comes from the production manager. So you are creating a template, then you can add new lines, right? Whereby you are adding the items which are going into manufacturing these window frames. So you are picking the items which are your raw materials. They are just like your raw material. What has only changed from the bill of material is that the bill of material is meant to be manufacturing, something like generic, like your Coke, right? You're manufacturing for almost everybody who drinks Coke, right? But this job now, we are focusing on a particular order, but you are simply using the raw materials just like what you use for. So here, that's where you are adding the raw materials which are going to go into this job, right? Then once you are done, click on save, right? It needs a warehouse. I didn't put a warehouse there. Right? You are going to appreciate this when we actually do this, because when we are doing now the job costing, you're going to see we have to we'll come up with a job, input everything, then run job costing so that you actually see how it works. Here is meant to give you an overview so that you understand. Then the transaction types, they come by default, so you do not have to change these. These transaction types just do not have to change them. We will use them when we actually do the job costing. Then the workers, okay. So you may want to build, like you want also to cost, because when you are doing job costing, you also you have the raw materials like your steel, like let's say for window frames. You have got your steel for window frames, you've got electricity, you also have got labor, right? So here you're putting in the employees, the person who's going to work on the job. So you put the employee code, right? So you're putting up the employee code, then you're putting in the name of the employee, right? Because this will be added. This will be added to the template. You saw that template that I started with. Then what is the cost? Normally the cost, it all depends. If you are billing per job, like in general, it's okay. You can just put the total cost there and say, for this one, we're just putting up that. Then that will be the billable rate. If you are billing per hour, then you have also to indicate in the template, you have to put some quantities. So this will be used on the template. So let's go back to job costing and see. And the defaults, normally I say, do not change them. Defaults, just leave them as they are until such a time whereby we have appreciated, we have now understood, because it's set up, the job cards, everything is set up. So you do not have to change anything under the defaults, right? Let's go back and see, right? I think anytime from now will be cut off. That's fine. We'll just reconnect and continue. Today, we want to finish this maintenance. I'm sure we should be able to finish it. All right. Okay, so I want to go back to maintenance. All right, maintenance, job costing. So job page is again deleting. So if you want to delete, you page it, and there's always do a backup first. Yeah. This page will only delete job cards which are status what? Complete. So those which are complete, you can delete by selecting from whatever job to whatever customer, whatever project, then you can delete. But first, you backup, right? So paging is deleting. Then under that, you can relink again. So your relink is more like your, like checking, like your data integrity check, like just checking that everything is linked up correctly. So more like recalculate the job line W work in progress quantities. So it's more like recalculating, just checking that everything is working. Recalculate the inventory, work in progress quantities. So when you run that, yeah, but also you need to do a backup before you run it. So under job costing, what you just need to know is creation of the workers. You need the workers. Then, of course, creation of this job templates, because that's what we will use, these job templates. So as I said, the job templates, just like your bill of material, you are putting in the raw materials which are going to go into the manufacture of the particular item for that particular job. You see, right, when you start doing this. So that's that under job costing. Point of sale, we're not going to do point of sale because we will need tools and other devices. So yeah, it's difficult to. The same goes with the retail. Your point of sale and the retail, they are more or less retail just expanded, point of sale limited somehow, but you'd find some of the items there, it's more or less the same. So again, we're skipping that. And we're going to fix the assets. Now, under fixed assets, these are your not immovable. These are just your fixed assets. Those items which will last more than a year in simple terms, right? They will last more than a year. Normally, if an asset doesn't last more than a year, we call it a current asset. But these ones are your computers, your buildings, your furniture, and fittings, cars, and so on. So I think you've come across what we term an asset register, which is a listing of your fixed assets. Right? So the system is saying you can have that asset register on an Excel sheet, but you can also bring it into Sage Evolution. You can also bring it into Sage Evolution. Then it allows you to manage your assets on Sage Evolution, right? You have got ledger accounts for the fixed assets, but this one allows you to itemize the items. You are itemizing a Lenovo laptop, serial number, so and so. Whatever chair name that we have, whatever quantities and the others. So this is what it allows you to do. So there are a number of things under fixed assets. You've got accounting periods, and as I said, your accounting periods, this is the financial year you are in. That this is the so you set up that you set up for 2025, starting from 1 January, 31 December. When you're in 2026, it means if we're in 2026, we are going to select 2026 there, right? Then you generate periods based on what? That's the day of the month. Normally, that's what we say. Then you just say, oh, wow, no, I don't want to create wow. I want to delete. I don't want this. So I want to delete this because I created for 2025, for 2024. I want to create for 2025. So these are your financial plans. For fixed assets, more like your asset ranges that you're going to see. So you're setting up this. So you're simply coming here, you're saying fixed assets, then you are setting up the accounting periods. Then we go to asset types, right? Now, your asset types are already there. They are already there. If you've got something different, you can add. Normally, we've got furniture, machines, office equipment, computers, softwares, modern vehicles. Normally, a standard business has got this, but you may have some other asset categories that you have. You can always add. You can always add. You can even edit the description, and it just double click and you can edit the description. Probably instead of furniture, you can say furniture and fittings. Right. Then let's go back to maintenance. All right, fixed assets. Then the assets. right? So under the assets now, you are adding the asset. So your asset register is very important because an asset register basically is just a listing of your assets. Saka asset I don't get it in a code, and it's like at your organization where you are right now, if you're in the finance, right, I believe you've got an asset register, and each asset that you have should have a code. If it is a furniture and fittings asset, it could start with FU001. Is a code. So this is the first asset under furniture and fittings. Then we could describe this as mahogany. I don't know. I don't know if that's the spelling, the correct spelling, but I'm just going to use that. Right. If it is a barcode, then a barcode is put. Then what is the asset type under groups? You then describe it's a furniture and fittings. Then if you have set up cost centers, like in this, where is it? It is in the finance and accounting department. Location, if you had said location, was it these locations? Okay, we haven't said them. We should have said them before probably creating the asset. But we're going to talk about the locations. I'm going to explain. You may have more than one branch. You may have a branch here in Harare, or a branch in town, another branch in Belvedere, another branch in Grenade side. So the locations must have been created. I'm going to show you how to create the locations. Then you can pick the location there. Then, if this asset is being, all right, just slow. Today, my machine is a bit slow. If it is being, if you are getting it from a particular supplier, then you select the supplier there. Then if there is a CapEx order, CapEx meaning to say capital, is just a capital procurement, capital goods procurement. You know, people they just say CapEx, but just to do with these capital goods, these assets that you are talking about. But just hold on. Let me take this one. Hello, yes, Martin. Dribble. Tiripo. Murigwe. Amajambo shwa kumbaba weekend. Murubaza. Correct. Saka ndokubata ndombo shwa weekend. Alright. 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 I don't try in right. So so this is your capex. Then all right, anytime from now, I think we're going to be cut. Then we'll just continue. Right. Then you have got a purchase date, very important. When was it bought? Your asset register, if you've got an asset register, in English, this asset was bought in Sokat. So you have to put the purchase date. It helps us in calculating depreciation. We're going to see this. Then replacement date. Okay, you can put it like replace, because you may have a policy whereby you say, when we buy this asset, it has to last like for 5 years or whatever period. So you have a purchase date. You also have a replacement date so that it guides you. Then the capital gains tax. This is applicable to like your buildings. Your buildings, you've got capital gains tax that is supposed to be paid. So you put what we term a base